If they're in trend, they're very happy.
True,
Uh,
true. It's been a great last couple days for Trend, hasn't
oh
it?
yeah, phenomenal. And speaking of trend, today's a very big day for us. We just finalized and launched our free product of being able to track trend completely on your own. Um, no pressure. You can just follow what we're doing. And I want to kind of give it over to Quinn to talk a little bit about how we got here and our decision behind why we want to give away something
Yes.
like this for free.
So, cryptotrendfollower.com. Very exciting. So, we've been working on this for the last little bit, thinking, how could we introduce people into trend following if they're not ready to commit to a full automated system that is, a pretty big commitment overall. It
Hmm.
requires a good amount of funds and like a long time dedication as well. So we want to release this to kind of show you what Trend is about and very, no pressure to try it
Mm.
out yourself and see how it goes for you. I think we're at a great time in the market where it's really going to start performing and picking up for the rest of this year.
Hmm.
So we really wanted to get it out for that.
Yeah. Uh,
I can bring up the website and show everybody how it operates. I
yeah.
think
I
that would
think
help
that'd
with
be
the explanation.
fantastic. And I'll just touch on a few things here while you pull that up. Two things. One, we really, like, first and foremost, want to help people. Um, if we are strictly selling an automated system, we realize like that isn't helping everyone, and we would love to provide free value to investors and burn traders that really want to have some kind of exposure to trend, learn about it, and really be involved without necessarily taking that leap of faith with us. You have no reason to trust us. We're just doing what we're doing. And really, this is a way for you to learn about it, take the trades manually, and hopefully, through time, even if you're just starting with a few $100, you're able to build trust in the system and then over time realize, hey, maybe this is something I would like to have automated because I'm spending hours and hours and hours doing this manually.
100%. Great points, Jonah. I'd like to just springboard off that a little bit before I get into the website.
Please do.
A few things came to mind. I understand, especially when you're younger, you have more time than you have money.
Mm-hmm.
And, you're able to rebalance every day and place the trades yourself. You're more capital constrained than time constrained. This is the product for you.
Mm-hmm.
Compared to very busy professionals, where they can't commit to logging in every day and placing their trades, even though it only takes about 10 minutes, I'd say. Um, this is the perfect balance for the people that, they probably don't have too much capital to run systems, or they don't want to invest too much capital initially, and they
Mm-hmm.
just want to get a feel for it. This is the perfect balance, in my opinion. Jonah, can you see my screen?
Absolutely. Yeah, I'll pull it up big so
Per-
they can see as well.
Sweet. So this is what you see when you log into the Crypto Trend Follower. I'd like to reiterate, this is the exact same trend following strategy that we use in our crypto trend system. The exact same top 20 assets that we rebalance monthly. And here we kind of we get an overview of what the trend system um, has allocated uh, right at this moment. So logging in right away, you can see if you know the symbol is BNB is actually Binance, so this is the strongest performing one. So there's 9 kind of allocations per coin. So 9 times 20, 180 allocations. It's quite a lot. Um, so you log in, you see you have all the assets listed, and then we have a rebalance guide here. This is super interesting, very helpful. Let's say you've logged in for the first time, you would place your trades based off of what you see here for each asset. You can get how much exactly you should put into each asset by typing in how much you're trading with right in this equity section below. So for the initial example, this is a portfolio with $10,000. So if you had $10,000 in your equity that you're willing to trade trend with. You would put $647 in Binance, a TRX 320, and you would just go down the list for the first initial setup. After that, the next day, we recommend rebalancing at midnight UK time, 00 UTC. So for me in Alberta, that is 6 p.m. currently. So you would log in really anytime between 6 and 7 p.m. and you would see we have a 1 day window here where this is what changed over the last day. This is what we call a rebalance. So taking that new data, we're calculating these new signals, and this is what you would kind of trade on your exchange daily. So you wouldn't have to do the 3 cents, 7 cents, but anything, over 10, 20 bucks for in this scenario, you would rebalance. So yesterday we would have bought $71 of Binance, $38 of ADA, $38 of ETH, and this should really only take 5-10 minutes, but it's important to do it consistently every day because there's a chance that the day you don't do it, you miss out on the big days, right? And you're under allocated to what you should be, right? That's where the performance variance when you're doing it manually versus automated can kind of come into play. Over here we have the charts section. So you can just kind of see individual charts on how they're all looking. The one we brought up here, Bitcoin, so it has 5 out of 9 allocations. So what that means is this trend, we're about just over half of the allocation set out for Bitcoin is currently in a Bitcoin position. We are long Bitcoin. In a $10,000 portfolio, that is about $465 worth of Bitcoin. Other things we see here is the annualized volatility, right? So it's 46%. As I mentioned before, Crypto Trend System, we target a portfolio-wide volatility. So what this system is targeting is actually about a 45% annualized volatility. Mm-hmm. What that means is, for everybody, all the new listeners too, volatility is essentially how much an asset moves. If it moves a lot, up or down, it's considered volatile. If it doesn't move much, up or down, it's not very volatile. To give you an example, bonds in real life, they're very low volatility. You're talking 5%. Mm-hmm. Equities like stocks, closer to 15 to 20% for S&P 500, NASDAQ, and then you get into crypto and it can really range anywhere from 50% to 200%, and then you go into those really crazy lower market cap coins that we don't trade, but those can go over 1,000% volatility easily. So the goal is we don't want to have exposure to 1,000% volatility coin. We want to target a certain volatility for the purposes of risk management. So if, let's say, I'll bring up ADA. I think we've talked about ADA before.
Yeah.
Let's see what that volatility is at. So it's 106%. Mm-hmm. Really quite high right now. So what we would do is we take that initial allocation and essentially we want to target 45%. So 45 divided by 106, we would pretty much divide our ADA position by 2 to target the volatility we want. Mm-hmm. And this crypto trend follower does that all automatically, makes all the calculations. All you have to do is do the trades daily.
Yeah, and that's the key part, right? Is you shouldn't have an expectation that this is a day trading strategy where you're going to turn $100 into $100,000 just from some crazy trades. Really, this is a long-term system, and maybe you can touch on that a little bit more of the expectations going into doing 100%. Trend manually.
So trend following, whatever trend following strategy you're running, it could be the simplest, it could be the most complicated. It doesn't matter. It's essentially a law in this strategy where most of your gains for you run out on any odd year are going to come from 2 or 3 months of the whole year. So if you run it just for 1 or 2 any given months, you probably won't make money. I'm going to show you the back test now for this specific strategy and how it's performed relative to Bitcoin. I think we can get a good idea on, what that looks like, what a trend equity curve, how it performs, what it actually looks like. So this right here is the back test. So the light cyan color is the long only trend strategy on Crypto Trend Follower. The darker blue purple is Bitcoin. This back test starts at November 2021, which was about the Bitcoin top, when it topped last before this cycle started. And you see Bitcoin went down nearly 60% during this time period, which is a lot of pain to hold on to. While this strategy, it went down, I think, 15% from when Bitcoin topped in 2021. So even though we're only buying stuff in this portfolio on that huge bear market, it easily survived. Like a 15% drawdown, a lot more stomachable than 60, 70%. No one wants to see that, but 15, much more manageable. And then as the market turned around, it went up. And then as we are, Bitcoin has outperformed it as of right now. No problem for us, because again, Bitcoin much more volatile. If you vol adjusted the Bitcoin, you would see Crypto Trend System outperforming. You're really just taking much more risk holding the Bitcoin compared to this. Very noticeable, like this graph here is the drawdown. So how big the drawdowns were for each, for the long only trend system, which is this here, and then Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Right?
And then it has that period where it's outperforming Bitcoin as well.
100%.
Between 2024. Yeah.
Yep. And one more thing I'd like to add about this is what trend looks like. It is flat for a very long period of time, and then all of a sudden it goes up. Like 2023 November to about May 2024, it was a huge gain. And then it was sideways for almost a year afterwards, right? This isn't a strategy where you trade it for 1 day, 2 days, even 6 months. This is something you commit to. So just as a kind of precaution for Crypto Trend Follower, this isn't something you could do for a month, but we want to give people a taste. And if they're really committed, you can perform exactly like this, and you'll outperform the market. You'll outperform your peers, most likely. Not financial advice, of course. But it's really just a solid base strategy, and there's no reason, there's no reason people shouldn't have access to this instead of just buying coins. And we really believe that, you have $1,000 in, you can run trend, right? You can start growing, you can start compounding, and talk to us when you're ready to automate it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? With better systems, better execution. We're always developing continuously on Crypto Trend System side. We want to make it the best product possible. This will stay super fixed how it is, and we hope you give it a try.
Yeah. One thing I wanted to ask you, and I feel the viewers would be curious as well, is I think for them it's easy to understand why automation saves them time. But kind of going back to just Crypto Trend Follower itself, how did you save them time just by making this thing? Even before they get into automation side,
Yes.
think about doing trend from scratch and putting this together. With no automation, all you're trying to do is get the signals to you. What kind of time did you save for them by making Crypto Trend Follower?
So I work a full-time job, but I'd say November last year. It's almost been a year of working on trend somehow.
Yeah.
Crazy to think about. I spent the first 6 months developing strategies and trying to figure out what works, what didn't. And that was anywhere from 20, 25 hours a week researching stuff and putting stuff together. I would say to get to a working system, even if it's not automated,
Yeah.
it still takes quite a lot of work,
Mm-hmm.
because you want to verify stuff. You don't want to, uh, you need the math behind it,
Mm-hmm.
essentially,
Mm-hmm.
right? Not just the back tests, right? Back test is a nice thing you do at the end,
Yeah.
um, but all the kind of proving your signals are predictive of price, at least a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
That is a huge thing. And then learning, volatility, how to target that. What's a
Mm-hmm.
volatility estimate? It's really a crap ton of work that
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
put into
Yeah.
this. We could absolutely be charging $100, $50 for
Oh,
access to Crypto Trend Follower, and I think it would still be undervalued.
I think it'd be extremely undervalued. I mean, if you're just trying to create a price from a marketing perspective alone, looking at what other products are out there, that you
Yeah,
still have to do all the manual labor after
yeah,
you pay a subscription to something, this is unbelievable value. Yeah.
yeah. For all the traders out there who joined like Telegrams or Discords following like
Hmm.
copy trading or whatever, this will outperform all of those guys. I guarantee. And it takes you 10 minutes a day,
Yeah.
right? Those guys trying to hustle you for
Mm.
$200 a month room subscription or like a newsletter or like just charging for their presence in a Discord, right?
Yeah.
This strategy will outperform those guys, convincing you can trade 5-minute candles on the most liquid future markets in the world.
Hmm. Hmm.
This is genuinely, I wouldn't call it, it's more of an investment strategy,
Yeah, more
more than
than any.
anything,
Yeah,
trading,
absolutely. Yeah, yeah,
that
yeah.
requires daily rebalancing.
Hmm.
Uh, and I'd like to actually talk about this. Regular trend following in traditional finance,
Hmm.
it's not accessible to most people. You require, if you want to run it yourself, you're looking at probably $500,000 in minimum capital, just because the futures, like the traditional finance futures contracts, are so big
Yeah.
and you need to trade so many of them where it's not feasible at all under that capital amount.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
then if you want to, invest in a fund, they're called commodity trading advisors. Those are the guys that run trend following in traditional markets.
Yeah.
They probably won't even speak to you unless you're willing to invest a million or two into their firm, right?
Yeah.
And their returns are worse than this,
Yeah.
right? And so with this, it really opens it up if you only have a couple grand,
Hmm.
right? Even anything less than a million, it's
Yeah.
available to you to use for free.
Yeah, yeah. So I think you kind of answered my next question a little bit, but maybe you could touch on it a little more. Why do you think
Yep.
most retail traders struggle to follow trends in the first place? What do you think is stopping them from realizing that this is a good strategy and sticking with it?
Oh, it's an ego thing.
Yeah?
It's an ego thing. Well, partially. I would say like that would cover a good chunk of them
Mm-hmm.
because they see this, right? Because I was a very active intraday trader and I refused to touch. Like, I knew about this a long time ago, and I didn't touch it when I was intraday trading because I had the ignorant beliefs that I could outperform it, right?
Yeah,
And for
yeah.
some months, some quarters, I did,
Mm-hmm.
right? Which would require insane amount of time, effort, right?
Yeah.
Like the mental strain, right? So you see this like, well, that's pretty boring waiting 2 years before it really went up after,
Mm-hmm.
during the bear market. It's like, fair enough, but it still outperformed your book,
Yeah, yeah. You might have won
you know?
a battle, but
Like
you didn't win the
simplicity.
war.
Exactly, exactly. Like
Yeah.
you want the, what's it called? I don't want to call it necessarily addiction, but you want the feeling of entering trades, being like a crazy gunslinging cowboy in and out of the market,
Mm-hmm.
right? Or do you want to make money? Do you
Yeah.
like the feeling of trading, or do you just want something dumb, simple that actually works,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right? So I would say the hesitancy would be really just, oh, I can outperform this by trading manually.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you can, but
Yeah.
99% will not. In fact, most will actually blow up and they'll
Yeah.
be left at zero.
Yeah.
Start again.
Because, like, absolute full disclosure, if you're a true professional, if you're like the Michael Jordan of trading, you can outperform this. But
Yeah.
are you?
Why? If you're so good at trading, why don't you have a spot? Why
Yeah.
don't you have a seat somewhere?
Yeah. Yeah.
Genuinely, if you're like a killer, if you're a shark, there are
Mm-hmm.
firms out there. You show them your 2-year track record. And by the way, when I say you're a shark, I don't mean like a 1 month performance. I don't mean a 3 month performance. I
Mm-hmm.
mean 1 year hard minimum
Mm-hmm.
of very consistent gains, or like preferably 2 or 3. And even then, right?
Mm-hmm.
I would say 5-year track record would be better. But even if
Yeah.
2 years, you could probably get a seat somewhere, right?
Mm-hmm.
My favorite quote recently has been, if you're so smart, why aren't you rich yet? Why aren't you rich?
That was a
Kind of
brilliant
applies to
quote.
trading too. Why
Yeah.
kind of applies to trading too, right? So if you've been simplicity beats whatever the fuck you're doing 99 times out of 100.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
No, absolutely.
we can go on about that, and
Mm-hmm.
going into the struggles of trying to be a day trader, but
Yeah.
reality is it's
Mm-hmm.
extremely difficult, and especially by yourself.
Mm-hmm. No, I couldn't
And
agree
running an
more.
automated system, like here's something interesting, because a lot of people don't realize this. A lot of like those discretionary traders,
Mm-hmm.
right? They're not just waking up in the morning and thinking like, you know what, I think X and Y are gonna go up today because I feel it in my gut.
Mm-hmm.
That's not how it works, right? They're not just like, oh, that was a pretty bullish candle, I'm gonna buy, and then they do that day in, day out. No,
Mm-hmm.
they have typically systematic trading strategies or edges,
Mm-hmm.
like trend following, probably more complicated stuff, right? And then where they really outperform is choosing how hard to go in or how little to go in. So, they may have some, what's it called? Systems or forecasts on when stuff is performing better, and they'll choose to size up even more, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
almost double down.
Mm-hmm.
Or that's kind of the discretionary part, where it's that maybe more vibes, where it's like, you have an edge, you have a signal, but then how much do you apply the throttle to it in terms of your sizing?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? That is how real discretionary traders work.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just a 5-minute candlestick chart using ICT concepts, using the exact same, entry exit size all the time, because that's not an edge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you definitely hit it on the dot there. I think something that to kind of transition a little bit here, because we've talked a
Yep.
lot about specifically traders
Yes.
from an investor's perspective. Because to
Mhm.
be honest, I don't necessarily consider myself a trader. I don't think I've ever considered myself a trader. Although
Yeah, for sure.
I do pretty frequent like rebalancing of my investment portfolio, and
Mhm.
that does require, some effort of trading, if you want to call that. But really,
Yep.
at the end of the day, I view myself more as an investor. So I think for me, this will even be pretty sound advice. But when we're talking about the transition from you've been sticking with crypto trend follower for a while, let's say you've even stuck with it for a solid 6 months and have not cheated on it once. You've really, been a
Yep.
good boy and you stuck with it. If I'm looking to transition now to crypto trend system, other
Yep.
than simply the time saver, I wanted you to go into a little bit about outside of just saving time, what
Mhm.
other benefits are there? Because I know you've talked a lot about cross sectional momentum
Yes. Yes.
and the
Yes.
benefits of having that alongside trends. So I wanted you to touch a little bit on that for the investors and yeah.
Definitely. Um, so in crypto trend system, for the unaware, we trade two strategies simultaneously, each using half of the equity in your portfolio. So if you have $10,000, 5,000 of it would be allocated to trend, 5,000 would be allocated to cross-sectional momentum. And give you a quick rundown on cross-sectional momentum, we take the top 10 assets from the trend system or from the crypto universe, and we measure how strong they are relative to each other. And we take 5 long and we take 5 short. And full disclosure, the momentum system is a lot, not a lot, but it is better than the trend following system. So why wouldn't you just use the momentum system? Well, combined, they outperform both individually, right?
Yeah.
That is basic finance. You take two uncorrelated strategies, you stack them on top of each other, you greatly increase first your rate of return, and you decrease your risk, your amount of volatility. We're able to run both strategies on CryptoTrendSystem.com at a pretty high individual volatility, but because when you combine them, it cuts that volatility significantly. So you still get the same returns with less risk.
Mm-hmm.
That's a
Mm-hmm.
huge thing too. Like the cross momentum strategy is an extremely good strategy.
Yeah.
Like
Like when we're
it's the
looking
best
at the back
strategy I've
test.
ever made.
Yeah,
It's the
yeah,
best
yeah.
strategy I've ever made, right?
Mm-hmm.
And not even considering the automation, you can just set it and like forget about it. But
Mm-hmm.
we're continuously improving
Yeah, yeah.
CryptoTrendSystem.com. We don't have, it's still pretty far down the pipeline, but this isn't a static product. It's only going to improve in terms of our execution.
Mm-hmm.
I've kind of playing around with like a market maker
Mm-hmm.
kind of execution system, so that would reduce fees and give us slightly more optimal fills, which would give, you could eke out a few more percent every year, right? And who knows, maybe there'll be a third strategy down the road. There's no plans for that at all.
Yeah.
Um, but this is something that I'm working on every single day, and I want to be the best product possible. Crypto Trend Follower, it is just a one basic strategy that, don't get me wrong, can still outperform most people,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
But Crypto Trend System it takes it to another level.
Yeah. I mean, trend, like the whole idea of trend in the first place was like us to discussing how can people have exposure to the crypto market without
Yep.
taking the same like unbelievable bullshit risk that I'm taking because
Yeah, for
like
sure.
you mentioned you're in, trading but for me oil, right? Or
Yeah.
well, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And for me, I've been in crypto for quite some time, but I lived that bear market, like that crypto winter for an entire
Yeah.
year where I saw my portfolio down a good 15 grand. And I just
Yep.
had to live through that. And we already went through that on the chart earlier. But just
Hmm.
having something where you don't necessarily need to go through that pain and just
Yeah.
can have the option if you want to take money out, I didn't have
Hmm.
that choice. I literally, if I take money out, it's gone. There's really
Yeah.
nothing I could do. And I was just completely at the will of the markets. And
Hmm.
trend just is such a safer approach to getting exposure to crypto, especially if you aren't well versed and haven't had years of experience and haven't
Yeah.
gone through that pain yourself. I personally wholeheartedly believe that even something like Crypto Trend Follower is the superior way to go. Again, not financial advice, but it is the superior way to get exposure to the crypto market because it takes all of the guesswork out, all of the emotional decisions, and you can just truly stick to something and let it ride.
You don't have to think about it either. It's like even manually rebalancing only using crypto trend follower,
Mm-hmm.
you're not second guessing yourself. Like just commit to the system,
Yeah.
and the drawdowns, not financial advice, all past historical results, but will be less than it holding any coin and making those speculative discretionary decisions on, well, should I buy that one? Should I have bought the other one? Because now that's outperforming.
Mm-hmm.
Or, oh, I'm feeling a ton of FOMO. Should I just buy all in Pepe coin because someone said it's going to a buck, right? Like you don't have to worry about that, and you will not outperform.
Yeah.
Like 1 out of 1,000 people will outperform doing that. That's
Mm-hmm.
just the reality of it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so psychologically, day to day,
Yeah.
it's a lot easier than just holding. You're
Yeah.
committed, and you know that it's a proven strategy
Mm-hmm.
that's lasted decades and decades, right? This is nothing. We're not reinventing the wheel here. This has compounded. Like trend following itself has made quite a few billionaires. A lot of
Mm-hmm.
hedge fund managers, right? Worth a few billion. How do they do it? From traditional finance trend following. It's a
Mm-hmm.
proven method.
And it's an easy method, you know? Like
Yes.
the
Yeah.
whole
Yeah.
Richard
Yeah.
Dennis story of the turtle traders is his
Yeah.
whole concept was simply to prove that you could take the random bloke off the street, bring him in, teach him a set of rules, and say, as so long as you do not break these rules, I can make you rich, you
Yep.
know? And that's exactly what he did. Uh,
No. They made so much money.
they
It's
made
disgusting.
hundreds of millions. It's unbelievable. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a
And
proven
yeah.
method.
Yeah, absolutely. And it has worked on traditional finance, and it certainly, at least Quinn and I believe with all our hearts that it'll work even better with crypto because you just have so many more trends to ride.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
So I don't think this opportunity will last forever in crypto as it matures. Like I'm thinking,
Mm-hmm.
10, 20 years out, like the turtle traders, right? In the 80s,
Yeah.
70s, around there,
Mm-hmm.
right? Their strategy to an extent kind of works today, but they crushed it then because they were early to it. They crushed it,
Yeah.
right? Like if you read the books, it's like, oh, well, this stock was at its 20-day high, so
Mm-hmm.
I bought it and it went up 50% over the next 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And then it went down 10% and the system told me to take profit and I made a quarter million of a bucks off that trade. Like, it's just like it's so stupid how it worked so well in the 80s. Like it's almost infuriating in a
Yeah.
way because you're like it was that easy,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
right? That's part of the thing. It's like that I guess that discipline,
Mm-hmm.
right? You need it. You need
Mm-hmm.
it. And trading speculatively,
Mm-hmm.
discretionarily, it's so much harder to do that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it's so funny you said that because like I'm always on social media. It's just due to my job. I'm a
Yep.
marketing guy. Uh, one back and forth I had, one of the first back and forths I had with someone on TikTok was they had a viral
Yep.
video go off where it's a split screen of one
Mm.
side on the top, this guy's super chill, relaxed, and then at the bottom he's freaking out and making trades. And then
Yep.
the caption was, "This is the difference between a profitable trader and like non-profitable or something."
Yep.
And I
Yep. Yep.
commented
Yeah.
that like you're wrong. Discipline is the bare minimum. It's not the difference,
Yeah.
you know? It's not the
Yeah.
reason you're going to be successful or not. It's
No,
like
God,
that
no.
is the bare minimum. It's like
Yes.
first, yes, that's the standard, but it's not going to be the difference maker. You could put
No.
a monk, who had
Yeah.
20
Yeah. Yeah.
years of meditation and teach him how to trade, and that doesn't mean that
Yeah.
he's going to be a good trader. It's
You
yeah.
expect your waiter to have discipline. It's like, yes, if you don't have it, if
Yeah.
you don't have it, you're gonna fail. But
Yeah.
it's not like you all of a sudden are disciplined.
Mhm.
The market doesn't know you shit.
No,
You know
it
what I mean?
doesn't.
It's literally like, are you a responsible human being? Like, can you be
Mhm.
disciplined? Good. That's the first step.
Yeah. It's the bare minimum. It's
It's
like
not.
it's
It's
an
not the.
expectation.
That's not
Yeah.
gonna make you rich.
No,
It's
not
not
at
gonna
all.
make you rich.
Yeah.
No. Like,
Mhm.
you show up to a job
Yeah.
on time,
Mhm.
bare minimum.
Yeah. Where like the fascinating thing to me about trend
Yeah.
is
Mm.
like for like day trading, that is the bare minimum. For something like a systematic approach, that's
Mhm.
at the end of the day all you need to do.
Yes.
You know, there's a
Extremely.
humongous difference. It's
Mhm.
not comparable, at least to me.
Not in the
Yeah.
sled. It's literally just having the discipline to not ego your way into thinking you're better than the system,
Yeah. And that's it.
right?
Yeah.
That's it. That's it.
Mhm.
Because, okay, for an example, right? Ethereum, I'll say it every goddamn podcast, right? But if I influenced my decision and the system said max long Ethereum and I said, no, it's disgusting. I don't want to touch it. Get it out of my face,
Mhm.
right? And I said, no, I'm not following the system.
Yeah.
I would have underperformed
Mhm.
compared to the system because that shit went up so much.
Yeah.
And the system longed it and we made a good amount of money from longing it,
Mhm.
right?
That's
All
it.
you have to do is not touch the red button. You know what I mean? Is they
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
monkey it, and
yeah.
you're good.
And that's it. I mean,
That's it.
to give you one even better on Ethereum, I
Yep.
was once a proud owner of 2 ETH. I own 0.1
Yep.
now. Do I wish I still had 2 ETH? Absolutely. Do I still hate ETH? Absolutely. You know? But
Exactly,
with
man.
Trend, my opinion does not matter. Yeah,
No, not in the slightest. And
not in the
just keep it
slightest.
that way.
Mm-hmm.
Keep it stress free
Yeah.
and let it compound.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Let it compound. Because again, it's not a 6 month thing.
Yeah.
It's a multi-year um, horizon. That's what you should be looking at. And if you're looking at anything shorter time
Mm-hmm.
frame, like you need to make X amount of money in a year,
Yeah.
like you probably are gambling.
Yeah.
You know, you're not going to
Mm-hmm.
get 1,000% in a year. One person will. Two
Mm-hmm.
people might out of 1,000,
Mm-hmm.
right? And they'll post about it,
Yeah.
make everyone think it's doable,
Yeah.
and everyone else who tries it will get rinsed, right? You got to
Yeah.
think long term.
It's almost a similar mindset to you're thinking about. So I've been reading a book called Millionaire Expats. It's about a
Yep.
teacher
Yep.
that wanted to help expats build their retirement fund because a lot of times, expats move abroad. They don't have access to the pension fund the same way you do if you stay in your home
Right.
country. And his whole concept was like compound 10% every year through index funds, you know, and be very, very, very happy with that. Um,
Yep.
and that
Yep.
was like
Yep.
very long book short. That's essentially base strategy of what he's trying to explain. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying you have to have the exact same mindset as that when you're approaching trend, because I
Mm-hmm.
do wholeheartedly believe that trend will significantly outperform 10% a year. But,
Yeah.
at the same
Not
time,
financial advice.
not financial advice, but I mean, what we've seen so far, it will
Yep.
absolutely crush that. Uh,
Yep.
it is a similar mindset in the sense that you should be thinking about your future self. And when I'm
Yep.
thinking about my future self, I'm thinking about like while I'm in this youth, in this body now at 27 years old, do I want to spend my entire 20s and 30s uh, looking at, or looking back and realizing I spent hours and hours and hours looking at candlesticks and charts all
Yeah.
day, and I just
And I
completely
underperformed.
and I underperformed. Is that really how I'm going to be proud of myself at the end of the day, or do I want to
Yeah.
drop my ego? And for me personally, I still hold crypto. I love crypto, but also, you know, put majority of that into trend and be very, very happy
Yep.
with that because it takes absolutely zero time out of my day.
Yeah. Good.
Hmm.
Good point to hammer home there, man.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Quinn. Appreciate
Yeah. Thank
your
you for
time
having me on.
today. So thanks for listening to Crypto Trend Talks. We'll see you next week.